Welcome to the Center for Enlightenment Studies, Reiki First Degree Practitioner course. You may have known about Reiki for quite a while, and you're finally mustering up the courage or taking the leap to finally learn about it and get attuned to this wonderful healing frequency. Or maybe you're new to Reiki. You're interested in the history of Reiki and how it's used and how it can benefit maybe not only yourself, but benefit many others as well. We're excited to be able to present this from the Center for Enlightenment Studies, and we're pleased to introduce you to ourselves. In this program, for Reiki First Degree, you'll be hearing from both myself, Jonathan Webb, and from Stephanie Webb. We'd like to give you a little bit of history about the Center for Enlightenment Studies before we jump into the formality of Reiki and energy work and what all that entails. The Center for Enlightenment Studies was formerly called the Reiki Center for Enlightenment. The Reiki Center for Enlightenment was established here in Salt Lake City, and the whole purpose behind having the center was to broaden people's and individuals' perspectives on what Reiki is and what Reiki isn't. There were a lot of misconceptions within the Valley, and there also needed to be a home base for people who were interested in Reiki and who wanted to further their study of this wonderful healing frequency. So we established the Healing Center, and we knew very quickly that it would not only be limited to Reiki. In fact, there were many different practices that we engaged in as we taught individuals and as individuals came in for healing sessions. Reiki, however, was the foundation of all of our work, and we'll explain a little bit later as to why it works as a beautiful foundation. So even if you've been a healer for a long time, using a variety of different modalities, Reiki, you will find, will serve as a great pedestal or a great foundation for you to kind of rest your other healing modalities upon. Over time, we decided to transition the name of the Reiki Center for Enlightenment to just the Center for Enlightenment Studies. Still valuing Reiki, particularly Usui Reiki, but broadening that perspective and communicating to others that we love Reiki, that we do more than just Reiki, I guess. My background and my history goes back to when I was a young child. I was raised in just a typical household like anybody else would be. I had some different experiences though. I was able to see energy and see forms and see just different things that the typical person usually isn't aware of. My theory, and many others share it, that most young children come into this world being able to see those things and then over time lose that. For whatever reason, I was able to hold on to that. And for a long time, I practiced healing just based on my intuition, what it was that I felt or what it was that I felt led to do as I worked on someone. When our first child, when Stephanie's and my first child was born, you know, at the age of 2, I noticed him engaging in spirit and doing some things that looked very, very familiar to me. And I realized that I wanted to be a mentor to him because I didn't have the mentor that I really could have benefited from as a child with those gifts. So between that and also some physical issues that I was having at that time, I went on and began a formal study of Reiki, taking courses, receiving certifications, and most importantly, going through the attunement processes. And you'll learn about the attunement process and actually go through what's called a distant attunement process, which is just as powerful and sometimes even more powerful than when you receive an attunement face to face. Stephanie at that time was familiar with some of the work that I did. However, she had never really engaged in anything like that of her own volition. So when I began taking classes, she decided that she wasn't going to get left behind with that and wanted to come and learn about what it was that I was formally studying and like most people, instantly fell in love with it and was ready to become a Reiki practitioner, and not only become a practitioner, but begin the process of walking a Reiki path and kind of infusing Reiki into her life. So that's a little bit about us, and we think that that helps to frame who it is that you're hearing from. Right now we have 2 children and 1 on the way, and our whole family, both of our children are attuned practitioners. Both of them are second degree practitioners. Anyone can learn this process, and we'll talk a little bit about why it's such an easy healing frequency to tap into, and a lot of that has to do with the attunement procedure or process that you go through. However, the way that we like to start off every class, whether it's a distant class, whether it's a one-on-one training that we're doing, or whether it's a large class type setup that we have, is we like to start off with a quote. And you, of course, have already access to the manual. You've probably already read through it. If you have, great. If you haven't, you'll want to get through the manual before you get too far into the different modules within the course. But the way that we like to start off every course is through a quote from Marianne Williamson, just because we believe it truly is profound, and that there's a power with reading it out loud. And so I'm going to read it out loud, and you can flip open to that page within your Reiki manual if you'd like to follow along, where you can just sit back and enjoy hearing the quote. Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, handsome, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God within us. It is not just in some, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. We believe that that's the process that you're embarking on, the journey or the destination that you're headed towards, beginning with this right here and now. That you are in the process of liberating yourself, and that the liberation has to do with a fear that binds down many people, a fear that teaches us that we can't heal ourselves, that we can't walk a path of enlightenment, that we're too small, that we're too insignificant, and quite frankly, when we do once in a while have an experience of oneness or an experience of transcendence, we decide to pull that back and try to put that in the back of our minds, believing that only the Buddha could experience that, or only a Christ could experience that, or only the Dalai Lama has access to really living that. Our belief here at the Center for Enlightenment Studies is that we all come from the same source and substance, and that we all have the potential to feel that, because we are all of that same beginning infinite intelligence and consciousness. So we ask you that as you begin this program, that you think about your approach to healing and healing other individuals, that you decide if it's time to move into a place in your life where you're ready to embrace your own healing, whatever that means, whether it be healing on the physical level, the emotional level, the spiritual level, the mental level, whatever level it is that you're going to be focused on. We believe here that you truly have all the faculties within you to make that a reality. We congratulate you on choosing to begin this course, and wish you the best of luck.